Away from that, let's quickly look at what the federal government says, this money that will be saved when it no longer provides subsidy, 1.134 trillion naira, and it goes down to 4. It says subsidy reinvestment empowerment programs, what the federal government calls it. And it says that according to the breakdown, state governments will get 411 billion. The federal government itself will get about 478 billion. Local governments will get 203 billion. And the FCT will get about 9.86 billion naira. And the state and local governments are expected, according to the federal government, to design programs for the use of this reinvestable funds, perhaps agriculture, health, education, and other sectors such as that. So what are your thoughts on this program?
The first thing is, I don't know where that fund is coming from.
The money that will be saved from the fuel subsidy, and it's been put at 1.134 trillion now, according to the federal government. That's these funds that would otherwise would have been put, used to subsidize fuel.
My second question is that money provided for in the budget? The answer is no. This is money not provided in the budget. And when you don't make provisions for money so that it can be appropriated by the National Assembly, then I don't know how you can begin to spend it. There's a committee that has been put in place. I said that committee, to me, is at best advisory. They don't have the power of expenditure, and that committee is not recognized by the Nigerian Constitution. What I believe has happened is this. In 2011, our budget was 4.8 trillion. Discounting the excess crude, receipts that we would have received from the international market, 4.8 trillion. Out of that 4.8 trillion, we had a budget of 240 billion for subsidy. Correct? Now, 25% of that budget was for capital expenditure, which approximately should be about 1.2 trillion. As at October 2011, the government had disbursed 1.3 trillion for this subsidy. I don't know the National Assembly that appropriated that. I don't know how legal that expenditure was, but that is for the government to answer. What is important is that almost the entire capital budget of the federal government was what was spent on subsidy. So there was we don't need any rocket science or any soothsayer to let us know why our road cannot be repaired and why other federal roads could not be repaired, including the one from the port to Mile 2. Because the entire capital budget was substantially diverted to funding subsidy. That is on one hand. So if the government is coming to say, this year, because we did not budget for subsidy, then that capital budget that we have, which is about 1.something trillion, will now be applied to those projects that are in the budget that they were designed to fund. Then we can understand. But to present it to the masses as something that can be operated outside the budget, setting up one account, like it's almost looking like the PTF kind of regime of Abacha. And I'm not sure this constitutional democracy has provisions for that. So let the government present it that indirectly it will put the government in a position to now implement the capital budget for 2012, because it was the same amount budgeted for capital expenditure in 2011 that was used in funding this subsidy. Then we can understand. But setting up a committee, creating an account that is outside the federation account and all that, I don't know how it's going to work.
Yeah, well, there will be, like you said, a committee or for oversight and implementation to ensure that there's transparency and that the funds are used for what, the originally...
Like I said, those are the politics of fuel subsidy.
This is money that we would have saved.
Any money,
few subsidy.
Any money accruing to the Federation of Nigeria goes into the Federation account. That is basic, that is constitutional. And this was the argument we had when we were going to have that sovereign wealth fund. It was very contentious because people were able to, demonstrate that, look, you cannot have money coming into Nigeria and being taken into another account. It must come into the federation account. And when it comes into the federation account, what happens? It must be shared to the tiers of government, including the Federal Capital Territory and the Ecological Fund.
Which is what is actually being done here to the Ecological Fund.
If this is what will come into the federation account in the regular process of federation accounting, and if it is being distributed exactly the way it was intended in the budget, then it's not palliative in any way. It's just the regular. And let us present it like that. Let us also, let Nigerians know that this problem of subsidy is a transition that might take between 3 to 6 years. It's not something that you can get a quick fix. Refineries are not going to spring up in 6 months or 1 year. The people who put their monies in refineries are going to take their time to understand the stability and the acceptance of this deregulated regime. And that can now, make them to want to invest. We must let Nigerians know that it's not a quick fix. It's going to be some things that will take some time before we can begin to say, okay, we now see private refineries springing up. So it's not a 1 year, it's not a 2 year thing. But what is important at this time is to focus on supply. When you focus on supply, no matter what, as long as there is enough supply, prices will adjust itself and come down.
So
that is what can moderate the pain on the masses. Telling them palliatives and all that, it's not going to put money in their pockets.
Okay, so
you go and build a teaching hospital in every local government. It will help the health system.
When the PPRA meets with major oil marketers today, you think that is one of the issues that
they should be talking to them on supply. When you have a temporary problem like this, and people are hoarding,
need more money if you're going to get in more supply, that's more money that you need to get in more.
When you want to get in more supply, it's not only money. The banks will always give you money as long as there is profit to be made from transactions of importation. So banks will give you money. But what they are worried about are those bottlenecks at the ports and other bureaucratic things that makes it costly in terms of pricing and also makes it inefficient in terms of delivery. Those are the things they should be talking to marketers about. And that will put marketers in a position to flood the market. When you flood the market, the price goes down. It's not a palliative thing. It's a supply thing. People are not worried about the inefficiency of government. They are worried about the burden and the pains that they are going to go through in this transition program. And that pain can only be moderated by a reduction in the price of petroleum products. So let's focus on supply. Anything that will delay supply, let's break it down.
Okay, so let's say we're able to flood the market with more more PMS. Do you see right now the benchmark is 141?
There is no need for any benchmark.
Which you do not agree with.
There is no need for any benchmark. It's either you want to regulate or you don't want to.
Can we in the perhaps medium to short to medium or medium to long term see that this benchmark coming down from around 140 to below that particular figure?
Let the market determine its own benchmark. Let competition determine its benchmark. It's not for PPRA. PPRA is to make sure that the regulatory regime is supportive of distribution, of production, and of sales.
Okay.
That is what is important.
All right.
Well, it's not all this benchmark. In fact, they should close that website that talks about benchmark pricing. There's no need for that.